Hi, it's Charlie from St James. Wanted to preview this weekend's Premier League fixtures. Some cracking games on offer, that's for sure. Also got a couple of concessions. There's been plenty of interest this week in our market. Who will be the next Premier League manager to leave his post? And a lot of it revolves around two games. Liverpool versus West Ham United, that's live on Saturday evening, I think on ESPN, and also Manchester City travelling to Fulham to take on to Craven Cottage to take on Fulham on Sunday afternoon. We bet next manager to leave his post 15-8 Roberto Mancini. It's then 9-4 for Grant, 13-2 Hodgson, and 14-1 Bar. I think it wouldn't be ironic if this was the game. Fulham away, managed of course by the previous manager at Manchester City, Mark Hughes. I don't think Hughes would lose sleep if he were the man, if his team were the ones to put that final nail in the coffin of Mancini. I think Mancini, it's difficult to talk about people losing their jobs, but he hasn't done a great deal at Manchester City. He's not moved the club forward in any way, shape or form. He's got an awful lot of valuable players, but the sum of it is that they are a fragmented bunch. When you have Balotelli coming out this week and saying that he will give it until the summer and then decide whether he wants to go to Manchester to stay in Manchester, I mean, I don't think that's good enough. And there's no question there is some disquiet at Eastlands, and I think that 15-8 is a cracking price. Although the bottom line is, what happens if Liverpool say beat West Ham 2 or 3-0? Will Karen Brady, who gave them the vote of confidence, and Golden Sullivan, will they go and decide it's enough at Avon Grant? They are bottom of the table. If they got a decent result at Anfield, I don't think they've been playing as badly. They should have won that game against West Brom when they went 2-1 up, and they let that slip. But they're not keeping clean sheets, I'm afraid, and I don't think they will do at Anfield. We told you this time last week that Andy Carroll would start for England against France. He was a 2-1 shot with ourselves at StanJames.com. Well, he's 9-2 now to start in the next international, so we don't think he will. That's against Wales at the Millennium Stadium, and that's not until March. But I thought Carroll, like everybody, I thought he did very well. The problem was the 10 other puddings, and that includes people like Jagielka. I thought Gerrard did well, but that apart, it was a lamentable performance by England. And if we're talking about Italian managers who should get the tin tack, no comment about Capello. Chelsea don't lose that often in the Premier League, but they've lost the last two, so we've got to mark it rather mischievously. When will the next game in the Premier League that Chelsea will win? 4-6 on Saturday at Birmingham, but I don't think they won at Blues last year. Nobody, St Andrews, of course, Birmingham on in rich vein of form, but nobody finds it easy there. They're 4-6. Newcastle away, which is there a week on Sunday. Away, remember, that's at St James's Park. That is a 5-2 shot. Then next home game in 2 weeks' time is Everton. That's a 6-1 shot. And for Chelsea not to win any of those three games, then to win any other game between now and the end of the season, that is an 11-1 shot. But 4-6 for Chelsea to go to the Blues of Birmingham and win on Saturday rather. Just quickly looking at the Premier League title as well, it's 8-11 now Chelsea. It was Chelsea who looked 2 or 3 weeks ago, looked a one-horse race. Well, Chelsea, through one reason or another, disappointing in the central defence. I think I'm a better player even now than Paulo Ferreira as a central defender. I think if I see that name go down on the centre, he's bad enough playing right back in my opinion, but as central defender he's just not good enough, I don't think, for Chelsea. They're 8-11. I think it's the year now of Arsenal. I was really behind Chelsea at the start of the season when they were around about 13-8 shot. I don't think they do anything to warrant 8-11. I think if Arsenal beat Spurs, I think Arsenal are a good price. Remember, Arsenal have already been to Manchester City, they've been to Chelsea, they've been to Anfield, they've been to Goodison. And goodness me, if you're an Arsenal supporter, if you could have got at least one win out of those games against West Bromwich Albion and Newcastle, Arsenal would be now, who'd be top of the league and probably vying for favouritism. I think that 4-1 is just too big. 100-30 for Manchester United in the middle. But again, I just think this is Arsenal's time. Let's go on to this weekend's fixture. Arsenal 4-6 against Spurs. They always beat Spurs. Spurs might score, but they always get the impression they will lose some soft goals like they did at. They did it when Vidic scored the first goal at Old Trafford. Spurs are wonderful on the eye these days. I think probably not as good as Arsenal. I think the momentum is behind Arsenal now. I think Arsenal 4-6. Blues against Chelsea. We've been through Blackpool 6-4 against Wolves 9-5. Big game this for Mick McCarthy. If Blackpool were to win and they create chances, they'll give you a chance, Blackpool, even look at Bluefield Road. But big game for Mick McCarthy. here. McCarthy's done a wonderful job at Wolves, but they are right down in the relegation zone, and they do need a result. They're 9-5 to win at Blackpool. Bolton 11-10 against Newcastle, 13-5 draw, 9-4. Bolton team of the year, Owen Coyle manager of the year so far for me. Remember, they should have beaten Liverpool. There's an extra 3 points, and they should have beaten Everton. There's an extra 2 points, and look where they are in the table so far. Coyle's done a magnificent job. United 4-1 on, and if Sir Alex Ferguson's horse What a Friend wins, we at Stan James will be paying 4-1 for What a Friend to win the Betfair Chase, and for United a 1-4 to beat Wigan on Saturday afternoon. Albion 11-10 against Stoke, 13-5. Stoke, resilient Stoke, and more should they've outplayed Liverpool on Saturday. Baggies are just beginning to fall in. They got that point at Upton Park, but everybody gets a point or more at Upton Park at the moment, and I do think Albion could really be in trouble towards the end of the season, and they do need a victory on this occasion. Rovers 11-8 against Villa, 2-1. Rovers would be at 11-8. They're my bet of the weekend. Again, I'm not really convinced that Robert Perez is going to do a great deal of difference. Got a good point though, remember, and they probably they led until the 91st minute at Craven Cottage on their last away start, but it would be Rovers for me 11-8 against Villa. Fulham 21-10. Is that the story of the weekend? Roberto Mancini 15-8 with ourselves at StanJames.com to be the next Premier League manager to go. Irony if it's Fulham and Mark Hughes who's the one to deliver the knockout blow. Have a great weekend. Be lucky.